In this series of videos, we're taking a look at one of the most popular programming paradigms in use in industry today, Object-Oriented Programming, or OOP for short. In this video, we look at the concept of inheritance. If you haven't watched it already, go back and watch the video OOP Part 1 before watching this one. Let's carry on with the person object example we were using in Part 1. This person object is great, but it's very generic. In OOP, we can use inheritance to quickly and easily reuse code and then extend the attributes and methods without affecting the original code. Suppose we want a more specific class called employee that requires the same attributes as and methods as person. In other words, all employees are still people, so they still have a name and an address, and they will need code to set these. But on top of this, the employee class will need to store and output an employee's national insurance number. We don't rewrite all the code, we simply create an employee class that inherits all the details of the person class and then adds the extra attributes and methods needed. Person, in this case, is called the superclass of employee. An employee is a derived or subclass of person. In this example, Jane has been instantiated or created as an object of the employee class. The new object has come into being and automatically inherits all the methods of the parent class person, as well as having its own more specific attributes and methods. The employee Jane object therefore has its own national insurance number and its own name and address attribute. It has access to code in the form of methods for setting and getting each of these attributes. 2 from employee and the other 4 methods from person from its superclass. Let's say we want to extend this class one more time to create 2 more specific subclasses of employee. Now we want to have an hourly paid employee and one for our annual paid or salaried employees. Pause this video and see if you can come up with a sensible name for attributes and methods for these 2 new subclasses. Check your answer and see how you did. You don't have exactly the same attributes and methods as here, but as long as you have the idea. Note that each of these subclasses are still employees, and they are still people. They inherit all the way up the object tree. So an hourly paid employee object, once it's created, has 4 attributes associated with it, and it has 8 methods associated with it. There can easily be a situation where a subclass needs a more specific or a more detailed method from one it's inherited further up the object tree. For example, let's say our company has a policy that when the system outputs the name of a salary or hourly employee, that their name is prefixed with a letter and an underscore to denote which pay system they're on. So S Craig Sargent would indicate an employee on a salary, whereas E_Craig Sargent would indicate an hourly paid employee. We therefore now need the output name method to be different or more specific than the one we inherited from the original person class. We do this by using a method of the same name in the subclasses. When this occurs, the method in the parent class is overridden. Overriding happens when this method in the subclass shares the same name as a method further up the object tree. The overridden method takes precedence and replaces the method inherited from the superclass. Let's say we've instantiated or created a salary employee called employee 4, and we've set its name attribute to Alex. But we still want to call the output name method inherited from its superclass. That's fine. We can do this by using the super dot prefix. In this case, overriding is ignored and the original method from the parent class will be used. So in this case, employee4.outputName would give us s_Alex, as it would run this overridden method. But calling employee4.superOutputName would run the original method, thus just outputting the code and giving us Alex. Now let's take this out of the abstract and take a look at some pseudocode. Every language that implements object-oriented programming has its own syntax and way of doing it. The pseudocode in these videos is the first version you're going to see in the OCR exams. Okay, so make sure to study this code carefully and understand. On the left here, we have the original person class. So nothing's changed about that from before. We've got the attributes, we've got the constructor, and we've got the other four methods. We now want to create a more specific subclass of person called employee. We don't want to change anything from this person class on the left. We still need all that code and all those attributes, but we need to add a national insurance number and an extra procedure to deal with the national insurance number. So, as you remember, we start classes with the word class and end with end class. We then give the name of our class, this time employee, and then here's the key bit. We use the word inherits, and that's what you'll see in the exam. So we're telling the computer that the new employee class will inherit all of the existing attributes and methods from its parent class. None of this stuff on the left needs to be rewritten now. This employee class, when instantiated, will have three attributes: national insurance number, address, and name. It will also have two new procedures: set national insurance number and get national insurance number, as well as all the original methods from the parent class. And here we are instantiating an object of the employee subclass, absolutely the same as instantiating any other object. We give the name, we use the word new, we say the class employee, and we give it some initial data. In this final example, we are now choosing to create a new class called salaried employee. This inherits directly from employee. Now don't forget, employee inherited from person, so this class will contain all the code as we go up the chain. Here is the important bit to check out. This class has a new method called output name. This matches the method output name in the parent class person. Therefore, this output name method will override and replace the code in this one. So importantly, it's this print statement that will be run, not this one. So here we have employee 4. We're going to make him a new salaried employee, and we pass in the details Alex and Brighton. If we say employee 4.outputName, it's this overridden code which is run, so we get s_my name is Alex. So we'll end up with s_Alex. If we do super, then we go back and run the original code, and we'll just end up with my name is Alex.